What's up, team? Welcome to the huddle. We're back with your weekly playbook where we not only strategize on playing the game, but changing it. From mastering the fundamentals of the craft and distinguishing ourselves in the marketplace, we're here to give the installer a voice and ensure you're equipped with everything you need. Let's band together and forge a new legacy in flooring. This is where you belong. Welcome to the team. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
Going on, brother? That
Good to
you're
see
getting
you
so good
guys.
at that. You're getting so good at that intro. Just so you know.
Well, we had to switch it up, and it only took me a mere 4 months to get it down. So hey,
I
what
had
can
to
I
add my
say?
last name since everyone else has their last name.
I
Oh,
only
there
did
you
mine because
go.
Paul had
You
his
got to
on
get
there.
official. Got to get official, baby. Man, it's good to see you guys. How has the week gone?
It's Tuesday. It's only Tuesday, and it's already been a week, right?
It's been a week since we got to see each other. So
Let's just say it's been a little hectic, and me like because I'm so last minute. I was trying to hook up another camera, so that way I didn't have to look here. I could have looked right there.
nah,
Technology doesn't like me.
not right
Yeah.
this moment. But I'll tell you what does love you. These guys.
Or
That
at
makes
least
you feel
that
better,
guy.
right?
At least that guy.
This guy. Well, today, welcome to the episode, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about um, troubleshooting installation challenges in real time, kind of like when you have issues out in the field. Um, what do you do, right? Like, what's kind of the um, first thing you do? So I'm going to kick it off with. I think we've said this a million times. Call your rep. Call the tech department. Um, one or both of those if you're having a problem with a product compatibility. What do you guys call them all the time? Tell me what's some different instances, because I think some people think, oh, this is a stupid question, but to me, I tell our crews, like, there are no stupid questions when it comes to this, because once you
Uh,
put this stuff down.
yeah, you bought it once you install it, right? And I
Yeah.
think one of the biggest things is because we always read the installation instructions that come with the product, and then we're always constantly pulling it up online too. So once you have conflicting information, it's like, hey, which one am I supposed to follow? Is this one outdated or is this one outdated? And it's calling to make sure that you're following the correct one. It was probably 6 years ago. We were doing some stair treads, and that happened. And I called, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, it says this in the box, but it says this online. And they're like, oh, yeah, we forgot to change the stuff online. So, yeah, the stuff in the box was actually the right stuff.
Well,
So,
I have a
we,
counter to that one, since we're telling war stories, or at least stories. And it could be conflicting information or just something that's not really you're in a situation out in the field that isn't really covered in the installation instructions. Um, Mine is just the same as yours, though. We were doing a bunch of LVT with a sound barrier underlayment underneath it, and it has two sides. Very clearly, one side has a film on it, the other side does not. And the instructions that we had sent with the work order stated film up, and we got that off of the website. The instructions in the package itself said film down. And so we called to make sure, but this particular company, the website was, and I think in general, don't take this as an absolute, but in general, it's easier for them to change the website installation instructions than they're not going to recall, 3 million, 3 million rolls of product to change a piece of paper. So in general, most manufacturers try to keep their websites up. But had we flipped that because we had a major claim on this job due to a big flood, had we not installed it the way the manufacturer said, our liability would have been there. In fact, the GC was trying to pin us on it and brought this to our first mediation on this situation, and brought that piece of paper and says, "Well, this says film down." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I got him." Like I got
Oh, hey, however, a GC that can actually read and understand some instructions, even though they might have been the wrong ones, that's pretty impressive.
Well, it's funny how they can all of a sudden read when they're those documents when they're trying to pin something off on somebody else, but their building envelope flooded and caused the problem, and they replaced what was wet and didn't really want the rest of the areas replaced, and those areas, because of how moisture works, failed as well. And so they were trying to pin it on us. And anyway, long story short, it goes back to the fact is that had I just went off of one, same scenario Daniel just said, I would have been up poop creek.
Right. And that's why, it sucks because everyone's like, always read the instructions, but it's always important to read multiple sets of instructions and then reach out, and that's why you have these phone numbers. That's why every box will have a phone number on it, so you can get a hold of these people, and that's what they're there
Yeah, or
for, to
Google
answer
it.
these
I mean,
questions. Yeah.
you can always Google the Shaw Tech Department, or Protector Rep, Tech Department, or
I
Whisper Map Tech Department, and or Tech Services, and it'll come up. The key here is put the effort into making the call. I think that's one of the low lying things here, and it seems elementary, and maybe some people in the audience feel like, well, no crap here, but truth is, we were just on a call. Last week's huddle was with the inspectors, and they were talking about how often that just does not happen.
doesn't happen. Yeah.
Yep.
And people just go forward, they don't make the call, and they get stuck with the situation. And so we're employing our audience to call the tech department in those cases. So that's
Right.
one way you can really work through an issue that you fall into when you're out on site.
Because a lot of these installation challenges, they can happen before you even start the installation, right? You go to site, you visit the site, and this guy over there has been dealing with a project last week that's been a huge headache, to where it's like they that's why he was saying something about GCs, where they don't want to
Wow.
follow manufacturers' recommendations and stuff like that. And it didn't matter how much literature you sent them. And the thing that they kept on saying was, no other flooring contractor across the country has needed to do any prep.
Dude.
God, that's just so insane.
I had to send
We
them
need to have. We're going to bite the bullet sometime soon, and this year, and have get some GCs on here, and let's have some. It's going to get gnarly. So if you're in the audience right now, when we launch that one, you should be make sure you're on, because it's probably going to get kind of hairy. I mean, it's not us versus GCs, because we love. They're our clients. We love them, but at the end of the day, these are the challenges that are unnecessary to me. Like, if that's what the manufacturer says,
we got
why is it so hard?
I don't know where the other phone is. I think it's on the desk that's right next to him. So
It's all good. We're all working, guys, so I don't think anybody cares too much.
no, Jorge says that he has a GC that can join. Yeah, we'd like to get GCs from everywhere. That way, it's not just centrally located.
Yeah, I don't want my
we don't want our GCs.
I don't want my head being the only one cut off. I got a guy that I could probably get on that sold his company and has since is now an owner's rep. And so he works with the owner and GCs, and he was always a real good one. So I have to think of one that really causes some havoc that would still be willing to join. But I'd like to have that conversation. But anyway, got off track there. Sorry, guys.
No, and like before the job site, like even when you're not the one that's like bidding the job and stuff, when you're working for a store and everything, you can still have that communication. And I think it's just important that that everyone knows that there's always that line of communication there that needs to be there, even with the stores, right? That, hey, I just want to know as much about this project as possible. Can you give me more information? And I think that, I mean, Go Carrera does a great job of that. I mean, we have people that use it with us, and that line of communication is very important. Hey, here's this information. Ask all these questions, and everything is tracked in there. Do you want to watch that video right now about?
Well, let me add just one thing that that you've got all these different scenarios. So there's tons of tools, and I think we were talking beforehand. Like, there's a lot of tools out there you can use um, that can help, because when you're troubleshooting things, it may not be as something like we just described, where you're dealing with two different installation instructions or something, but you're dealing with a layout issue, or you're dealing with a floor prep problem, or you go to a job site and you were told that the floors are in good shape, like Jose maybe, and then you get there and it's
They're
like
ready.
disastrous. In all those cases, if you work for a store, you really have to get them involved, because you're not going to do it for free, nor should you. So you got to get them involved in these scenarios, whether it's a layout issue or whatever. But yeah, like, one of the key features, so you can use text messages, emails, any means of communication is better than nothing. WhatsApp, those types of technologies. The thing that Go Carrera does do, to plug here a little bit, we have a few instances where we took this really seriously, and one of them is chat. Like, the reason that is, in my opinion, so superior to the other methods is your work order that you have with that store, that chat stays with that work order forever. So you're not searching through 6 months later, um, you know, trying to see what was said about a given scenario in a text message string with an
Or
installer that you
email.
use, or
Yeah. Oh
email,
my
or something
goodness.
that
It's
you're
like,
all.
where did we talk about this? Because you're talking on email, you're talking on text message, and you can't
Yeah,
And
find
you're
things.
searching and you're trying to, all you need to know with Go Carrera is what was the job name. Go to that job, find that work order, and look at the communication that you both had. So, yeah, let alone the pictures and everything. Yeah, show that video of chat. So it's
I'm
just
going
a
to show
quick
you
video of
chat.
how chat
So
works.
chat is a feature where you can ask questions before you bid on a job. So once you found a job, click View Details, review the work order offer, look through it, make sure that you understand everything, and maybe you have a question. What you'll do is you'll go to the upper right hand corner and you'll click on this chat bubble right here and simply type your question or your concern with the work order offer. As the company's responding, you'll see that they're responding, and that's it. You guys get to chat back and forth. What's really cool about this feature is the
That is
work,
impressive.
this
Type really
communication
fast.
stays with the work order forever.
Quick thumbs, baby. Yeah, and to clarify, you can use that feature before you accept a work order, or you can use that feature after you have a work order that you're performing the job and you want to ask questions or whatever. But those are just good ways to have the everybody on the same page. And like I said, there's other means, but they're just hard to go back. I've lived the life of trying to
I think
go back
we've
through
all
a
lived a
tons of
life,
text
and that's
message.
why we've all been through it, and that's why we know how beneficial it is to have it all in one area.
Yeah,
Yeah. And look, you
tied
talked.
to it.
This is all coming. Look, I didn't like the change, right? Like technology's against me, so therefore I'm against technology. But I will let you know that it is a little bit of a learning curve to make sure that you're using the right channels. And it may seem like a hassle to have to get used to something, but when you have all communications there, you can reference everything on a specific project. Oh, dude, like that makes life so much easier. You don't have to go through 100 messages or scroll down or oh, it got deleted. That thread got deleted. It's there.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's important when you are troubleshooting those things, you know, you also pick up the phone if you have to. But the reason the chat is, or even I would say in certain circumstances, something in writing is better, is because you're going to get some directive. And a phone call is better than nothing, but it's probably needs to be either before or after that phone call, a
Something needs to
written
be written down.
communication. Yeah, and sent, because I've had too many times where you have that phone call and it's a he said, she said
Yeah.
battle.
It's always, I don't remember that. I don't recall.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
never
It's
said
benefit me
that.
right now to remember that, so I'm going to pretend I forgot it.
So another key is that I think is important is having colleagues in the industry. That's one of the reasons we kind of talk to you guys about talk to the entire audience all the time about making it to some of the conventions or shows, or some of the trade shows and stuff, is because that's where you meet people. And if I have a question that I don't know about and it's got to do with sheet vinyl, I know who I'm calling a few people. If it's a real technical install question, Daniel's on my list. So is Jose. Like, you guys are on my list who I would call.
Because I know
Same
where
with
Daniel's at.
and or watching YouTube videos. Like Crystal's got some, well, I think those are TikToks, but of really cool little features, little tricks to the trade on outside and inside corners with sheet vinyl and such. Particularly if you got crappy sheetrock. But so that's just side note. But the truth is knowing people will help you troubleshoot your problem as well, because the manufacturer, there are plenty of instances where you need a trick to get you through the problem. Like, I'll use Crystal's using sheet metal for an outside corner. When the sheetrock, was that far, I believe, from the ground, if I remember the video right, it was probably, this far from the ground. You can't weld, it makes it hard as crap.
You can't
Harder than hell. You
nothing's
can't
gonna
get your
stick
code.
to
Can't
nothing.
get you can't get your code stick there. I mean, like, there's all these deals, right? And understanding who those little tricks. If you call tech department, they're going to say, "Well, tell the GC to fix sheetrock."
Right.
GC is not on site, and you got to have this room done by tomorrow. So you're always going to have these different
And
things. So that's kind of
I've
why
talked
we're
to
talking.
manufacturers about that before, and that's where they get into the whole, well, you should have been there 2 months ahead of time and then found these things out so they could have fixed it, when in reality, that's just not possible in most cases.
Yeah, they just got sheetrock up last week, bud. Welcome to construction.
Right.
Yeah, they sit in the ivory tower a lot of times, and they know their stuff. But at the end of the day, what they don't know is your job site. And so a lot of times you need those tricks, and that's when you need a friend. You need somebody that you can call, that you trust, that is a specialist at what you do or the situation you're in, and be able to talk to them. Ballin Knows Best has that for a lot of
the AI
so you
type thing. And if AI doesn't have the answer, they have the mentors on there that, boom, things get shot out, and then they come back with a human being that, hey, this didn't shoot out what you needed.
Yeah.
Here I go.
Shout out to Ken Ballin, even though I haven't seen him on here recently. Get your butt on the podcast, Ken.
I think he's trying to grow some hair back or something like that. I don't know.
Trying to get a style.
And then look, I wore a Pruitt shirt today. He needs to get on here too.
Oh man,
Yeah,
we gotta crack open the bottles for Pruitt. Get him
ain't
on.
nothing
We'll have to
to
have
it
a
but to prove it.
few Bud Lights. Entice him. We'll have to bribe him. Like you got to bribe the forklift driver on a job site. I got a wig for him. Jorge probably does have a wig for him, actually. I've seen the
All that hair that he
ponytail.
cut off.
I know. I've seen the ponytail picture. Jorge, you're a genius on social, bro. Great job. It's funny.
And then, like,
But yeah,
I think
what else can we do?
one of the biggest secrets, like even looking back on everything, taking pictures and videos of documenting
Oh,
everything, because like technology, your phone will timestamp everything, like the metadata in there you can't fake.
This is true. Yeah,
correctamundo.
so taking pictures, there's several ways. Again, we're going to be plugging Go Carrera here in a second because we got an awesome feature that deals with this. But whether it's WhatsApp or a FaceTime, kind of gives you some, visibility on site. But at least taking pictures and building a report afterwards, like this is this area, this is the problem with this, and like documenting that, you can do that in chat. But we have a product on, if you're in Go Carrera, there's a product called Lynk, and Lynk is an interactive video feature where you send if you're an installer, you'll receive a text message from whoever you're doing the work for, most likely a shop or somebody who's using Go Carrera. And you click, type in your name and you join the call. And then they have control of the camera portion of your phone to be able to zoom in. And you can hold the phone and just show them the problem. And you guys can actually draw on the screen and figure out the problem together. That's why it's interactive video. And then at the end of that, you get you get a report, and it saves you all the time of like emailing pictures and then downloading them and then putting them on a Word doc or a PDF and then typing in this takes all the metadata that Daniel was just talking about. Location, if your location's turned on your phone, it'll even take your location so that everyone knows you're on the job site. Like when this report gets sent to whoever it's needed to be. I'll tell a quick story on Lynk, and I think I've probably told this one before, but it was such a great experience that I had a installer out in the field, and we had different size tiles, both listed as 4x12 from the same manufacturer, but they were two different styles. And so the sizing was different. So one of the grout joints either had to get bigger or one of them had to get smaller. And one was a flat tile, one was a wavy tile. And that was an issue. And they stacked on top of each other. Half the wall was flat and the top half was wavy. The other issue was at the top, they wanted a quad metal on this wavy tile. And so we were trying to explain over the phone to the designer that it's going to look so bad, like it's better just to cut into the ceiling grid. It's going to look horrific to put a piece of quad metal across the top of there, because either the high side's going to be too high or the low side's going to be too low. I mean, which side do you match? Anyway, long story short, we were able to get on a single Lynk call, the GC, the superintendent, the project manager, the PM was in Wichita. I was in Wichita. The designer was in New York, and the architect. And then the superintendent was actually on vacation. And we all had to collaborate on this single thing. So on one Lynk call, you can have up to 8 people on it. And we were able to draw it all out, figure out which ones, make text notes on the picture itself, and then provide that report to the GC and architect and say, this is the synopsis of our phone conversation or our Lynk call and all the details that were taken. And they were blown away, because not only were we able to solve the problem without having to wait a week for the architect or designer to come into town, we were also able to provide them with a report that kind of gave an overview of what we were talking about. So that
Right,
was pretty cool.
Which is great, because the last time I was dealing with that whole different tile size situation, I had to go to the project site with the architect and show them and stack them on each other to say, listen, they just don't add up. I don't care if it says on the box that this is 4 inches and this is 12 inches. It's just, they don't add up. It's nominal, right?
Isn't it amazing that, like, just to try to get the concept across to a designer is all I kept hearing was, it's the same manufacturer and they say it's the same size. And I'm like, this is a 40-foot wall. Well, it's really like there's hundreds of feet of it, but this one wall walking into the 2 bathrooms, and they go, the alcove into a set of bathrooms, that one wall, like, it's going to be visible from the hallways. I mean, it had to be right. And if you're just on a 4x12, if you're off just a skosh, just a little bit, and you use same grout joints, you're going to run off.
Yeah.
And so anyway, you can save a bunch of time by using technology, and even a WhatsApp call where they're on the other side. You may not be able to make the cool markups and have the report done for you, but pictures or something with a written documentation showing what you did.
Well, let me add to that real quick about
problem.
Let me add to that about the markups. So, like, if there's a little slight difference in terminology, that's where the video feature and the markups will come in handy. He's like, well, wait, this is what I'm talking about right here. Look, stop. And then freeze, zoom in, circle, note. Like, this is what I'm talking about. What is that? Why is that there? That's where the markups and the video will come in handy for anyone who don't really understand the limitations of that.
Yeah, picture speaks 1,000 words, as they say, and video,
real-time markup. That's pretty dope.
It is. And
yeah.
We'll start. You already gave them kind of the rundown of, you get a text message, and then for the link, and then you pull it up.
Oh yeah, show them that video.
And then we'll start with the text message. How about that?
That'll work. Check this out, guys. A link call, and it'll come across your text message. And there's the text message. You click on the text message, click on the link, type in your name. Click continue.
Hey Umberto, how are you?
Hey Ben.
So
I've got a question on the height of the wall tile. The drawings show the wall tile coming to about right here on the drawing at 4 foot above finished floor. That's going to fall right in the middle of this outlet, and I can do it higher, and so the outlet is in the tile, but I didn't know which way to go with that.
You see those pointers
below or above? Let me go ahead.
So those pointers like allow you to explain exactly, and this is just a demonstration, but when you're in the real shit of a project trying to figure things out, those pointers come in real handy.
Right, and you can change your colors and everything, so that way you can differentiate between the pointers.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
custom.
custom.
Choices are that we might end the tile.
So this is about where the drawing shows, and this is at 4 foot.
Okay.
Right to there. If I go 4 foot,
use a full...
I can go 4'3" to here.
Yeah.
And that's going to be
a full tile.
Correct. Four full rows with a 3-inch bullnose to there.
I think that makes the most sense to me. And then everything will be protected with the tile.
I guess the other option would be to bring it down here at this level,
Yeah.
like I think it would be something like right there, and that would be 3 foot, like 10 inches or so. Not, I don't know for perfect, but I think this would be 3 foot 10 inches. This,
And
So
then
you guys get the point. Like all
everything
that.
is tracked in that job. Like this video is saved, right?
Mm-hmm.
All I kept wanting to do was ask, is there going to be enough material if we go that high?
Well, fair point. But the cool thing, like Daniel just said, is that then you just download the report afterwards, and you have that, and you can send it to whoever it is, and say that you can record the video and send that as well. So it's really cool if you're trying to work through those details on job sites, and if you're a company, it could save you a trip out to the job site, particularly if it's not right down the street. I mean, even if it's on the other side of Grand Rapids, it'd be a half hour, or Wichita.
That's the
And
project
so,
that we've been dealing with is about what 20 minutes away, something like that. So Jose says that most of the GCs he's encountered seem to be poorly educated on how flooring specs go, and it's in all their contract documents about which specs to
Ooh.
follow, which standards to follow the manufacturer's recommendations, and all this, and they'll still tell you to no, that's not what we're gonna do. But
So I'll add something to that too, right? It's maybe they're acting like they don't know. And the reason I say that is because the whole scenario that's unfolded lately, with all the black and white in front of them, they still look at it like this. And it was just like, so
yeah, it's like selective reading. My mom used to tell me I had selective hearing.
so that's part of
like-
troubleshooting too, right? Problem solving on the fly, making sure you know where to find the correct information to help educate. That's a great aspect to or a great thing to add to this episode on there. Just know where you're looking, know why you're looking.
Yeah, well, if you know the specs, and I think we kind of went through this last week during the episode with the inspectors, is like knowing your stuff makes you, it will help. If you are kind of willy-nilly about how it should be done and you don't know the specs yourself, and you're having a conversation with I don't care if it's a homeowner or a GC or a builder or who, we do some residential, not very much, couple, 2-3 houses a year, but we've been in the situation where the homeowner's like, well, I don't understand why you can't have this done in time. I'm like, ma'am, you're doing hardwood. We can't do it until your windows are done and your HVAC's on, and we have your floor ricked out and moisture tested, and like we can't do that entire process in the time frame you're asking. So either way, it's about knowing your stuff so that you can be more of an authority when you present or when you have a conversation with your customer, whoever that is. So what's your guys' thoughts around, when you're troubleshooting a problem? What is like, if we were to say, hey, go step by step, what would your first thing be if you whatever scenario you want to pull up, but kind of almost any scenario, what's your first go-to?
I guess it depends on what kind of issue we're talking about. Are we talking just a material issue, communication issue? Like,
let's call it a project stoppage issue. It doesn't matter why.
Well,
why ever.
like
Maybe
this right here, what Jorge said, engineered wood without windows in.
Yeah,
That's a project stop. Started buckling after 3 months.
It does not
I
surprise.
I would definitely look at the work order and see what I have going in there when I'm walking on the job site. Doing your homework and reading the work order and the information prior to walking into a project is huge, right? So, I mean, it's about preventing it. But if I walk in there and I know what's going on, I'm looking around like, hey, hold on. We got to stop right here. Let's figure this out. This is what we're installing in this area. This is what we're installing over here. There's window. Why are the windows in? Okay, if the windows aren't in, is the HVAC in? The HVAC's not up and running. We are running on temp power or temp heat, propane, throwing moisture everywhere. Let's find out when that's going to happen, when that's going in. You know, is if that's not on, is the water even running? How can I operate and prep and get ready for my stuff if the water isn't running? It's long list of things go through my head really fast.
Well,
And you just
any
gotta
of
start
those, you're going to
thinking,
call the customer first, right? And let them know
yeah,
there's a problem. Maybe they are one of those customers that are, like common sense or listen to the experts, and you're like, hey, I need X, Y, and Z to continue going forward. After, let's say it's a problem with the product that is going to stop the job, and we're always under schedule issues. So
yeah,
first call, you know, is
salesperson.
me. Yeah, it's like I'm gonna look at some documents online, see if I can figure it out real quick. If I cannot, I'm gonna call my sales rep, let him know that I'm getting ready to call the tech rep because that's who I really want to talk to. And I talk to the technical department. That's kind of my, like, almost every time it kind of goes in that order. And I get the tech rep on for a couple of reasons. I want to build my case with them and have them on my side,
Oh yes,
able to be on the phone when I go talk to the GC again, if I have a problem, or the homeowner or whoever it is. So then I get the tech rep over here saying, yeah, sir, sorry. We highly do not recommend you install your engineered wood without windows. Highly recommend not doing that. And so you got a little bit of backup. So that's another benefit of calling your tech department pretty quickly.
yep. And I think it's too is knowing the technical aspect and trying to get that message across is really great, but also being able to communicate with, the general or the homeowner or whoever is the owner of that project. Period. Um, Finding common ground and a line of communication is always great. You don't. Some people don't take too kindly to the direct approach. Some people don't take too kindly to the fluff approach. So you got to find your happy medium.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a happy medium.
Yeah, you do. That's what Daniel calls me. Go talk their ear off until they start listening.
Well, one of the things that I think is really important is, like, a lot of people will a lot of people know this stuff. I think you got to have the confidence to make the call. It's clear to me that not enough installers make phone calls to the tech department. They call their shop, they'll talk to the GC and try to let them fix it. But if you get direction from a shop and you don't know that they're telling you to do it wrong, you're kind of at a disadvantage if something was to fail. So and we've been to hundreds of conferences and talked to the technical departments at every time. And what do they say? We want you guys to
Call me.
please call us. They're kind of attention starved on top of that. So they love it when you give them a call. So,
Well,
but enough
will.
people aren't calling. So it's got to be either confidence. They don't know, which hopefully by now, if you followed this podcast for any length of time, we've encouraged you to do so. And we're telling you now, call the tech rep. But why else don't they call? I mean, what are the reasons? Not why is that not happening more often?
I think it's the same reason why people don't want to go get certified. They don't want to have someone tell them that they've been doing something wrong their entire careers.
That could be part of it.
Well, and this might be too. They just don't know they're doing something wrong, right? You don't know what you don't know. And to add to that is, the installers end up becoming the middleman in a conversation that they may not want to be a part of, right? And that's where, like you had said, look up the specs, call the tech rep. You don't, if you're an installer, you don't always have to call the sales rep first, right? Call the tech rep, find out, let me try to solve this little bit of a problem. And then you have information to talk to both the homeowner, or the sales rep, whether you're working for a store, and their sales person, or the sales rep themselves. Um, information is worth its weight in gold in a conversation like that, when you know something is outside of the norm.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, if you don't know, just like I said earlier, and what you just alluded to, is if you don't know, you can get led astray too. You know, like if so, getting that tech rep on the phone, you may be mistaken. I learned from them. I'm not ashamed to kind of be the dummy in the room and learn something new.
I know it just sucks when you ask them questions and they're just like, "You know how to do this." No, bro, I called you because I need you to tell me.
I think that's a unique Daniel problem, because they all know you, and you call and they're like, "Oh, come on, man. I know you know this." And you're like, "Nope, not this one, buddy. Calling you for a
But if
reason."
that's the thing too, is if you call someone and they know what you're doing, but if you call them and say, "Yeah, I know what I'm doing," right, and it is proven that you know what you're doing, they may not be willing to divulge information, or maybe another trick of the trade, or a secret that could help you become a better version of you. And you can't call someone as if you know it all. You got to call them with an open mind, and try to absorb any tidbit of information they might have that is outside of what you already know.
Amen. Yeah, listen and learn. If
Mhm.
you know, the huddle's about, I mean, our biggest like ploy is education. I think if we had one like major thing that we push, oh, it's every week, is get educated. Get educated, know what you're doing. Um, it's a bit mind-boggling to me that so, and we know this because Go Carrera, we have thousands of installers on there. The average hammer rating is pretty low, and the average hammer rating is low because we're a generation of flooring installers that skipped training. And there's I'm hoping the resurgence is here, and we can continue to more embrace the new trainings. There's new tricks you'll learn. There's stuff that you just think I've told this story before too. We've sent a couple of really good installers to CFI certification, and when they got through that class, they were like, "Man, I've been doing this part wrong for a lot of years." And Derek's he's a very good installer, but he learned tricks and easier ways of doing things. You would be surprised that I guarantee you go to some of this stuff, you're gonna learn some stuff that'll save you time, and it'll be worth it. It's like any investment, which that's what a training is. It's an investment in yourself. Um, it takes a little bit of time to pay back, but it will pay you back. You
Yeah,
guys are believers in that, right?
Oh
absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
I
We
mean, I
we,
don't
we
think
do our
we'd be here
best.
talking to you if we weren't.
It was rhetorical.
Yeah.
And then one of the other softwares that we use to communicate real time is Microsoft Teams. And I just wanted to do this is a post by baby sister that she did, so they can kind of see keeping
Yep.
everything in the job, so that way everything is tracked. All right, we're done with this area. And this is the same thing that we use when issues come up. We're like, take pictures. There's stuff in the way, take a picture, put it in there. That way everything is time stamped. But keep track of
Yeah, and
everything.
another piece, if you're on a commercial job and you got Procore, and you're working through, a lot of times the subs can upload their pictures for different issues. A lot of times they don't turn that feature on until it's punch list time.
Yep, punch list. That's what I was gonna say. Take a picture of your punch list and make sure it's done.
Yep. We like using the chat feature, or whether you're using chat or Teams or whatever. The key is, tracking everything. Like we have, technology can be a real pain in the rear. I know that. But at the same time, man, it saves so much time. There's no way a company our size could do the amount of work we get done with the number of people back in the 70s. Like we'd have to have, an additional 30%, 40% staff members.
Just think about like the drawings and scaling everything by hand and using the rulers and coloring everything up.
I still have a ruler.
And then you get an addendum and it's like, oh man, they
Oh
just
my
changed
God.
all this stuff.
The whiteout.
Dude,
Pull out the
listen,
whiteout,
I used to love getting the big drawing and doing a seam layout, right? And getting out the color pencils. I used to love that. Now, you know what? The drafting tables are just a thing of the past, man. They look cool in the corner, though.
Yeah, I got rid of my custom desk about 4 or 5 years ago because it had a desk here and a drafting table in the back behind it, and uh, I did that for many years, and then you start to get on screen stuff, and then different ways of communicating that's so much faster. And the key here that we're trying to drive home is document your stuff. Have a way to when you have kind of a methodology in your head. Like, don't think you know it all. Call the tech rep, call your shop if you're working for a shop, or call your customer, whoever that is, and have a conversation. But then back your knowledge up with the tech rep and the sales rep. A lot of those guys know, guys and gals know what they're talking about. But I like talking to the tech guys because most of them are old installers. So
They love what they do.
yeah, and shout out to I'm getting ready to do a new product with Ardex, and those guys have been fantastic. Ardex doesn't sponsor the show or anything, but their tech department has been really fantastic. They flew a guy out. I didn't even have the job yet, but we're doing a exterior paver project, about 4,000 foot. On a thick bed. They're A14. Like you can go as deep as you want with the pebble aggregate and the A14. And it's an exterior mortar, like mud bed, basically.
Really?
That's permeable and lets the water go through it to the substrate drainage systems. So a lot of places will
That
put the
sounds
drainage system.
amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna video the whole thing. I'm gonna go live on it too. You guys don't see me live on Facebook very often, but I'm gonna go live on that baby. But Ardex has been excellent. I'm just telling you, even I've got a lot of experience with Mapei. They've done just giving some shout outs to the good tech departments out there.
It's because you call them, man, and they send people out. It's like, hey, you guys got a big job coming up. When are you starting it? I want to be there. I want to
Yeah,
make
they
sure
flew
that
a
things
guy
are going to
out.
go right.
They flew a guy out just to talk to the owner and kind of go through the process and put their eyes on it before I've even won the job. I just told him I think this is going to happen. I would really appreciate if you guys would come out.
And
2
sometimes
weeks
it doesn't
later,
even have to be the actual manufacturer, right? It's the distributor. It's, hey, they got this product going in. It's not the right product. Let me talk to them. I'll get something else specified. Right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So it's a really good, outlet for you you should be leveraging the tech departments of the manufacturers. That's the bottom line. Leverage them, use them for their knowledge, have them come out to your job sites. I mean, we've had where jobs were stopped, and I'm like, all I can do is get the tech guy to come out, and they can be out here, and it's amazing how quick they can get those guys deployed too. But they can come out and look at it, and they'll tell you themselves whether or not I'm being too picky, or if you're right, Mr. Owner
Right.
or GC or whoever it is.
And you know what else is another software that really helps with installation challenges in real time? Floor Cloud.
Floor Cloud. No, this is true.
In real
Boy, if
time,
you
like,
can prevent it, and go and know your job's ready, what a benefit. So installers out there, I know you guys aren't using necessarily Floor Cloud, but you should talk to your if you're working for a shop or a dealer, you should talk to them about it, especially on larger projects. And I'm not talking just commercial, like even larger custom homes. I've got a home
Mhm.
that I'm working on right now. It's basically built like a commercial project. It's super big. Um, once they get things closed in and stuff, Floor Cloud's going out there. I'm not going to be waiting for the week before to get the information. So, you know, you'll save a lot of money as an installer not going to a job site just to find out it's not ready.
right? Time is money. So is fuel these days.
Golly.
Ooh.
Ridiculous.
So, we've pretty much beat up this whole scenario. We've talked about technology. We've talked about calling your tech rep, talked about having buddies like Jorge and Daniel and Jose, or, you know, calling somebody at CFI and being able to talk to them. So get involved in the industry. That's another one of our big ploys: education and involvement. And you're going to get people on your side. Like, and there's, again, give Ken Ballin a bit of a shout out. They're still working on this thing, but it works, to an extent, and they got mentors that if it's not got the answer, but their AI machine that you ask a question and you can get an answer
Right.
back.
And people keep on testing it, right? And they're like, you're not giving me the right answer, but they don't understand that it's technology. These are the beginning stages. It's only going to get better from here. So,
Yeah,
And you can help it
yeah.
get better by asking the questions.
We fought that a lot through the years of Go Carrera. It takes usage to get better and feedback to get better. So, yeah, shout out to everybody out there trying to work on these problems and make life a little bit easier for the guys out in the field. The more you're putting your hands on the product and putting it down, the more money you're making solving these problems. The more efficient you can be. The less time you take, the less time you are, not installing. And
yep.
let's be honest, that's how we make money.
Yep.
Right?
And
We
if
make money putting the product down.
if there's ever a topic that you guys want us to cover, definitely reach out. The email address is going across the screen. If you're listening in, it's the huddle forward progress at gmail.com, or reach out to one of us personally. You can also go on Facebook. We've been putting the events in there. If there's one that like jumps out to you, definitely reach out and just say, hey, I would really like to be on this one. That's why we're not putting any guests on. That way, if more people wanna join in, that's what we want. We want more people to join in. So hey, reach out, let us know, and we'll definitely try and fit you in where we can.
Yeah, we're certainly open for topics. Topics are the thing that, like, it doesn't always have to surround flooring. We've done several podcasts on business, and the reason we feel like we're uniquely positioned to be able to give some of the business guidance is we all started as installers. I installed for 20 years or so.
Yeah.
These guys have installed.
Dang, you're
We went
old.
through the whole old man.
We're all old.
Yeah, no doubt, getting there. But I'll tell you, we went through a lot of the stuff you're going to go through, and I've mentored a few guys on Facebook that, just reached out in my messenger and said, "Hey, man, I'm going to buy this store. They really struggled with X, Y, and Z. You got any advice?" And I've helped people out. I know you guys have as well, and This podcast is kind of there for that as well. So if you have
Yeah.
a business topic, if we don't know it, we will go find an expert. And
We've also reached out to you too, so appreciate that.
Yeah.
And next week we are going to have a baby sister on because, you know, she's still in the thick of it installing, and it's going to be the psychological impact of installer burnout and strategies for self-care. Over the past few years, she's really, you know, honed in on her self-care, and I think it's important for people to understand that, you know, self-care is really important. You got to realize that sometimes, hey, maybe taking off an hour early today and then putting in that extra hour tomorrow is what needs to happen. I mean, jobs still got to get done, but but hey, sometimes, you know,
hey man, it's tough out there.
it's a
You
give
know,
and
this
take situation sometimes, right?
well, we all know the economy is kind of rough from a cost perspective. We're spending more on everything. That's not, I don't care where you lie in politics, and we don't get into that here. But bottom line, shit costs a heck of a lot more than it used to. And
Yeah.
you know, so there's stress outside of work, and then you add the stress of a project. And we had a you know, a counselor on here, probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 episodes ago, and a lot of talk about that. So I'm looking forward to that episode again. I think we, you know, believe in keeping that on the forefront of our minds, because our brothers and sisters out there in flooring, you know, we know it's tough. We know it can be a hard road, and hopefully you can consider us here for you here at the Huddle. So if you do like, you know, the podcast, you want to support us, the best way you can support us is giving us, you know, some comments, a like, a subscribe, give us some topics, throw topics in the comments. Any of that stuff helps with the you know, all the algorithms out there in the world that put us on feeds and get us more viewers. And what we want to do is get the message out to every installer in the nation about what our main purpose here, and that's helping you guys be more successful. Like, that's our main goal. If we can bring topics up that we have some knowledge in, or we can bring an expert in and help you be more successful, live a higher quality of life overall.
Yeah, there you go.
That's my goal. That's our goal. That's what we're here for. So I want to thank everybody. Thank you too, as always, the staples.
Yes, sir.
It's always fun getting with you guys and chatting it through. And it was a great topic. I think it's super important. And I look forward to next week's topic as well. So, you guys got any closing arguments?
No arguments. No arguments. I do have. I think with all the technology and the information that is at our fingertips, no one really has an excuse anymore to not know. You want to explore all those avenues, so that way at the end of the job you can tell somebody with confidence that you got 99 problems and the floor ain't one. So that's some work.
Well, I love it.
Yeah,
Leave it to Jose.
Keep track of everything, man.
I'm sorry, dude.
Keep track of
Oh, that was
everything,
great.
and then communicate as things are happening. I've been on too many projects where in the beginning we weren't keeping track, so we learned the hard way to give you guys this information. And then once we started keeping track of everything, you know, we got on those jobs where it's like I got told in meetings, I can't believe you guys have this much information. And it's like, yeah, man, that's what happens when you get burned. You learn.
Yeah,
learn from our mistakes, and, you know, keep track of everything.
Get kicked in the old junk a time or two, and you'll do it. You'll start documenting more.
And feel free to reach out. I mean, we got a call. When was it? Last week? From Texas. And I mean, you posted on Flooring Installs of America, I think, reaching out to see if anyone in Texas is, you know, proficient in vinyl and heat welding, because there's a gentleman down there that was watching our videos and was, you know, he's trying to learn. And he's like, I watched your videos. I still just cannot get it. And it's like,
yep, I can't do it.
Yeah. Try to get him connected.
Yeah. And that's
Which
what we're
goes-
here for, connecting the community. So if you're in
Yep.
Texas and you're listening to this right now, or you're listening to it on the podcast when it comes out next week, reach out to us so we can connect you to the gentleman down there.
Yep. And
Amen.
he's in facility maintenance. He's not an installer, guys. So he is reaching out for help that could potentially lead to more work.
Yeah, help him out, probably doing some patches, probably just keeping the facility, moving forward, that kind of
Hey.
thing.
Something this big can turn into an entire floor in a
Amen.
hospital. You never know, right?
It often does, especially in hospitals. So, well, super. I look forward to seeing you guys again next week. And to the audience, again, give us a like, subscribe, give us some love out there. And
keep on sharing us, man. We appreciate everything you guys do for us.
Yeah, we
And
do.
if you don't like
appreciate
it, definitely give us a thumbs down. We like that too.
that.
Can't grow if we don't know.
That's right. All right, fellas. We'll catch you guys next week.
All right. We'll see ya.